that I'd said earlier, I would make it the darkest dark to make it really stand out. There's almost a dark purplish colour in amongst here, so I'll use that because there's a few layers of petal. Come back to the indigo. That's it, and just pull that out so that it's not too hard an edge. That's beginning to give me the effect of the second layer of petal. It's often the weak part of a painting is not making the darks within the flower head dark enough. And you might think, you might be horrified that you would use an indigo or something as dark as that for a red flower. But it's what I call the underpainting. It's not the top colour. I'm actually putting the red on top of that indigo, and it becomes a much darker tone. It gives it more volume. That's rather nice, and now it just needs those sort of slightly purplish edges. I've rather underdeveloped the greens at the top because in reality there's a lot of these lily shapes. I'm just going to put a little suggestion of a few, but they're such solid shapes really that I'm not sure if I'd want too many of them. For me, it's not every flower in the bunch that's going to be painted. This is the supporting act again, and I think that's about enough there. There's probably one more that I would pull out even further. Just here, I'm going to change that into a blue one, and then have one extra little pink flower just sitting on its own down here. And I've got to be careful in a place like that because if I draw too much attention to it, it's on the edge of the picture, but it's just to give a little break to the stems. Again, in reality, it's actually surrounded by dark green, but having faded out the green at this point, I don't want to make too much of that. It's just to give us a little bit of a flower on its own. That's rather nice. Little threads of indigo as well, just coming in a few other places. Rather nice opportunity there to have it tucked in here. Equally, putting it in there to show up some of these lovely tints that we used. Picking up the edge of that flower. And then I'm just going to sort of dot it here and there just to, you see how that leads you in now and it starts to make this that bit stronger. I'm definitely not inclined to use any more water at all here. Just simply finish off that bottom by suggesting a few of these stems at the bottom. Just to say that, they all clump together into a vase, but on a need-to-know basis, we don't need to know. I'll finally just do a little bit of work into one or two of these as well. It's the usual thing, whatever, when you step back and see something that leaps out at you, just have a little tickle with that. But tickling is dangerous because it leads to fiddling. It's just really giving these a centre. And they could have a touch more dark underneath. But as I've said before, you've got to know when to stop. And it's at the stage really where I could let it simmer on my shelf and have a look at it. And I've got enough information if I need to do any more. These I don't feel need any more detail really, other than, she said, that's not true, just a few little highlights on those lilies. Let's just pop that in, a bit of cream in there. There's a thing, I've just used the cream for the first time, so if I suddenly introduce a new colour, I just like to give it a little touch here and there, so that it's like another thread again. Right, I think I'll leave it at that now. So now it's up to you to go and get out in the garden and have a go yourself and see what you can do. And just remember, observation is the key. Have a look at what you really want to say, and you can either build it up into detail or you can keep it very loose and impressionistic. And whatever you do, enjoy.
Now available on DVD. Try these techniques yourself at home whenever you wish. The extended version of today's workshop is now available to order on DVD from the Painting and Drawing channel. For further information and to order your copy, go to www.paintingdrawingchannel.com.